Good afternoon. I would love to take a moment and welcome aboard Nancy Hollenkamp. Can you tell the welcome aboard the flight attendant in me? But I am thrilled today to share your story about Aubrey Rose and how your foundation came to be and how you're helping families. So
Okay,
welcome and thank you for taking this time today to talk with me.
great. Thanks, Tammy, for having me. Just briefly, I'll tell you Aubrey's story in a nutshell, although it's not really, it's a long, involved story. But Aubrey had 5 open heart surgeries. We had one here at Cincinnati Children's at 10 weeks of age, and that's the first time we heard we're cautiously optimistic. We had 3 up at Cleveland Clinic up in Cleveland for 7 weeks through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, and that was really rough up there. I mean, she was coding up there and it was rough. But we came home, got to turn the corner, and then her pediatrician said, it's funny, I can hear a murmur again. And we wound up in the hospital, and we had to go to Philadelphia because she needed a heart and double lung transplant. So we were in Philly for 4 months while she waited, received, and recovered from her transplant. And it was rough. But we got to turn the corner again. We came home and we had to go back for biopsies every 3 months, went back 3 times, got 3 unexpected hospital visits. Nothing was ever easy for Aubrey, but through everything, she smiled. And so we had just made our airline reservations to take her back for her next visit when she was really loving life and being a typical 2, 3-year-old, when very suddenly and very unexpectedly, 2 days before her third birthday, she passed away. And so when she died the 2 days before her birthday. She was laid out on her birthday, and we just needed to make it a celebration of her life. She was such a joy, and she was such a great sheriff. She had a cookie, you had a cookie. And so I knew immediately we were going to start this foundation. And please don't think I'm bragging, but we're going to be able to help millions of kids, but it's not going to be given to us. We have to work hard and work smart. And that's what we've been doing over the last 20 something years. And so we kind of been there, done that, not with the exact same diseases or conditions as everybody else, but the bottom line is your child is sick and your child needs help and you have to go out of town. Your child needs his medical care. And like, how are you going to pay for things? Like when we went up to Cleveland for 7 weeks, then we had to go to Philadelphia. I remember calling our mortgage company saying, explaining everything. And I said, I just want to let you know I might be late on my house payment. I don't know how I'm going to pay it. And basically they told me, tough. That's your responsibility and you owe that bill. And it was like, oh my God, that was a big rude awakening for us. But anyway, so when we started the foundation, we want to help children with life-threatening medical conditions. And our greatest asset is that we help any child with a life-threatening medical condition. Our greatest con would be that we help any child, because if somebody has cancer, they want to help an organization that has cancer, or if your child has heart disease, you want to help the American Heart Association or whatever. But that's what our mission is, and we're sticking to it. And so we help any child, and we try to make it as easy as possible for you. Our application is online at aubrey-rose.org. You can go to how we help, and then underneath there's a financial assistance for families. We do not ask about paychecks or what do you guys make or whatever. We don't ask anything financial. If you're coming to us, we know you need help. And so that's what we're there to do, is to help you. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're all volunteer. And so nobody gets a paycheck. And so we are an event-based organization because our supporters are everyday people like we are. And so we have to raise money. And with COVID, the last couple of years have been kind of iffy or spotty with our fundraisers that we have. And so we're hoping to build up more. We're working with a grant writer now. We're hoping to receive some grants so that we can help more families and help you with your medical bills and everything like that. So, but anyway, our application's online. It comes to us, and we try to put you in a queue. We receive the applications. Sometimes there's really a need that families need, help, and we might have to bounce you up in front of somebody speak, and we try to keep everybody in the order that we receive the applications. And we help with anything deemed medically necessary for your child. So hospital bills, doctor bills, pharmacy bills. We've bought service dogs for families. We've done a bathroom system for a child in a wheelchair. So we do a lot of different things. Um, Hotel arrangements are a little bit tougher because of with credit card. Um, we can do it, but we have to have some time involved with that. Sometimes people say, "Oh, we need it for next weekend," and it's sometimes that's just really kind of hard to do. Because we're not there when you're checking in, it makes it a little bit difficult. So, but
So you
anyway, we
still don't pay to families. You still are
we
going to pay it
never pay a
directly.
family directly. That's too um, it's too hard for families to get this money and to earmark it for your hospital bill when you need grocery money or whatever. And so we always pay a family directly to your provider um, for everyone's benefit. So, and we like to surprise families with what we do. And so we want to send you a package in the mail, and we want you to open this up, and I won't tell you what's in the package, but we think about your whole family. We've been there, we've done that. It wasn't just our child who was in the hospital. We were all in the hospital. We were all sick. We get that. And so whatever we do with the foundation, we truly think about the whole family. So we we had one dad who called us up and said, "Oh my gosh, I am wiping my tears with the tissue you stuffed in this box. Thank you so much for thinking of our whole family." And so that meant the world to us. Um, we don't expect families to thank us. It's really, really nice when you do, though, because when you dedicate your life to doing this and it's all volunteer and you're working so hard, it's really nice to get, to get um, to hear how it made you feel. Not that we need a thank you. It's so wonderful to hear how our grant and our box of cheer made you feel.
Yeah.
And it really does help because we use our notes that we get in our thank you letters to our donors because it's so important for people to know why we're doing what we're doing and how it affects families out there. Sometimes people are so blessed in their lives that and their kids are healthy, they don't want to think about what it would be like if they had a sick kid. They don't want to think about that. And sometimes it's a nice reminder to give them a gut check and say, "Hey, this is Susie and Johnny. They have a little boy named Billy, and he has XYZ." And it's like, can you imagine having a child like that? And here is what we did for them, and here is how they felt about it. And that really makes such a difference. And so, anyway, if we do help you, we would love to hear back from you.
Well,
And
speaking of that, how is
yeah,
are you guys still doing Challenge Your Heart?
we are still doing our Challenge Your Heart, where we give out scholarships to eighth graders going on to private high school.
Okay.
And so what that is it's not based on academics nor athletics. We ask these kids to write an essay about how they have made a difference in people around them in their lives. And it's so funny because the different essays that we get, it was like one boy said, I don't get up every day thinking about how I'm going to help my fellow man. But it's something as simple as I live on a street with a lot of older people, and I know it's hard for them to get their garbage cans out on garbage day. So I take their cans out for them. And then on my way home from school, I put their cans back for them. And, it's like their mom or dad didn't tell them to do that. They just do it on their own.
Mhm.
And so, it's things like that that we look for. And then we don't know all these kids. And so we have to get with their principals or their teachers and we ask about them. You know, if this child really has a kind heart, would this child rally around us? Because these kids will be freshmen in high school and we offer so many service opportunities, but they can't drive there. So the parents have to bring them. So, so we want to know if the family will rally around us. And so it's really pretty neat.
Is there geographic restriction on the scholarship?
Yes, the scholarships are Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana within the greater Cincinnati region. So we say southeastern Indiana and northern Kentucky and greater Cincinnati. So,
Okay.
yeah.
That makes sense.
And they're $500, so it's not a great deal of money, but every little bit helps with tuition. And
Mhm.
so it's more the honor of getting the scholarship. And we've had principals tell us, oh my gosh, if I know that I have a Aubrey Rose kid in my school, if I have a special project to do, I'm going to give it to them because I know it's going to get done. So that's very special.
That is.
Yeah.
Do you guys have deadlines or do you just meet once a month?
No, it's kind of just an ongoing thing. We say we have board meetings, but when I receive grants, I'll put it out to our board, our committee that helps us and say, hey, you know, this is what we received and it's more about funding. When we have a major fundraiser and I have some funds to help out, that's when we generally do it. But I'm hoping with this grant writer, we're just starting, you know, to apply for grants. I'm hoping that we can get a lot of grants that would really open up the door for us to help a lot more families.
So for 20 years, you've basically fundraised. You
Yes.
haven't done any really grant writing. It's all been
It's all
sweat
been,
and tears, and
yeah, yeah,
that is amazing because
yeah. Yeah, it is amazing when I look back, but you know, it's so wonderful because we have dedicated not employees, volunteers that help us with each of our, like, we have a group for the golf outing, we have a group for our dance, we used to do the American Girl Fashion Show, and that was a huge undertaking, and we had a huge bunch of volunteers, which was really neat. Now we're doing something new called Slay the Runway. It's going to be a prom fashion show. And so we're hoping to ramp that up to make that just as big as the American Girl Fashion Show. But it doesn't start out big. You have to start out small and just keep on building. So that's
and
what
will
we're
that
going
always
to do.
be in January?
It was going to be in January, but the last 2 years we had to cancel it because of COVID. And so we've moved it back to March 4th and 5th of 2023. It just seemed like it was too hectic with exams for kids to have it in January. So we talked with different, you know, high school kids and did kind of different focus groups. And so we think March is going to be much better. So,
Oh, wonderful.
yeah, yeah,
Well, thank you.
no problem.
I would love to share the video um, that you guys have available on
Okay.
YouTube for families. I'll go ahead and attach it to this, and I just gotta figure out how to get there. There we go.
And if anybody has any questions, there's a contact us form on our website.
Okay. Aubrey was our baby. She was born with 2 holes in her heart and born 6 weeks early. And she had her first open heart surgery at 10 weeks of age, and that was really rough. And at 9 months, she was diagnosed with scimitar syndrome, and that's a situation where it's very extremely rare. There's only 126 cases reported worldwide. We wound up having to go to Cleveland for 3 open heart surgeries through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. But through everything, she smiled. She needed a heart and double lung transplant, and we had to go to Children's Hospital of Philadelphia on a day's notice. I remember pulling out of our driveway thinking, I don't know when I'm ever going to see my house again. We were up there for 4 months while Aubrey waited and received and recovered from her transplant. And there was a week after her transplant where she was just coding every day. It was rough. And I just remember thinking to myself, put one foot in front of the other, one foot in front of the other. And so we finally got to come home, and we had to go back for biopsies every 3 months. And she went back 3 times, got 3 unexpected hospital visits. Nothing
was ever easy. But that was Aubrey. I mean, she was always teaching the doctors and the nurses and her parents lessons. And we had just made our airline reservations to go back for our next visit when we could not wait to take her. She was really loving life. When very suddenly and very unexpectedly, 2 days before her third birthday, she passed away. And when she died, her job on this earth was done and ours just began. We started the Aubrey Rose Foundation to put smiles on the faces of many children and their families, just like Aubrey always smiled.
And we knew when Aubrey died, we're going to try and make that change. We're going to help families.
When we were up in Cleveland through Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's, there was a family that had a holiday party for us. It left a lasting impact on us. We thought if we can give that feeling to other families, it'd be so worth it. One of the things we vowed to do when Aubrey died was to share her story because she taught so many people lessons and she's still continuing to teach lessons. And so we thought we'd always share her story. And everything to Aubrey was a party, whether she was going to the doctors or going to church. And so we thought, and another vow we made was we're going to make everything we do a party. Whether you're coming to volunteer for us, you're going to have fun. Whether you're participating in one of our fundraisers, it's going to be a blast.
Research is phenomenal. It helps. It helps for us to be able to, all of us to help cure cancer, cure diabetes, whatever. But there's families out there that still have medical bills. How are they getting by with this? They have a job, they have medical bills, they have people in the hospital, same as we did. Your bills don't stop. That was one of the objectives. We are going to help families with those medical bills.
I knew when we started this foundation that it's going to be huge, and please don't think we're bragging, but we are going to be able to help millions and millions of children. Like we said, when Aubrey died, her job on this earth was done, and ours just began. And I feel like God gave us a mission to help families out there. It's very healing for us to be able to see this grow and to see us help these families and the reaction we get from these families, because whenever we help a family financially, we like to give them gifts for the children and their families, because the financial piece is for the parents, of course. But the kids, they need something too, because it's all about the family unit. We learned that firsthand. It's not just your child who is sick, it's the whole family that is sick.
For us starting off, we knew what we wanted to do. Starting off and helping 8 families, with, a couple $100. And now, and having 6 to 10 volunteers, when we started. Now as we're going to be helping almost at $250,000 and having over 300 to 400 volunteers for our, for what we need, and being able to do other programs to help families. That's the neat part. That's the cool part, that where you can say, okay, we're growing.
We're making a difference.
We're making a difference.
We have 2 children, Aiden and Hannah. They have the exact same birthday. She was born at 5:57, he was born at 6:10, so they're exactly 1 year and 13 minutes apart. When Hannah was about 1.5 years, she started wetting the bed, like overflowing her diapers was what I thought it was. I didn't know, so I changed the diaper size. I'm just going to check her blood sugar just because I had the items myself, and I checked it, and it was 400 and something, and my heart just, I felt like I was going to get sick. It was just tragic. Our life changed, learning her high blood sugar, to a life of trying to treat a 1.5-year-old with diabetes. And it was almost exactly 6 months later. My son kept walking out. At this time, he was 3, walking back and forth, getting drinks of the juice. And I thought, he's awfully thirsty, for it to be bedtime. And I thought, I'm just going to check him, hoping and praying to God that it wasn't. And I did. And his blood sugar was the same. And we had her diagnosis and all her medical bills, and his right on top of that, and all their medical bills, and we're still trying to pay everything else. And you also have all the new prescriptions, all the new medicine. Your whole life changes from 1 minute to boom, everything. And when we got a box in the mail that had 2 bunny rabbits in it, and I opened it, we were just so excited and so ecstatic and just so thankful. When you feel like your walls are closing in, and then all of a sudden you get this surprise, like, we're thinking of you, we hope this helps. And it was just amazing to just feel that burden to be lifted, and to know that there was someone who thought of us and cared about us through the tragic situations. We're very thankful. Very thankful. Thank you.
That is amazing.
Thank you.
I feel so blessed that I've met you. You know, I've known about your organization and, you know, seen different things through the years, but you guys are amazing. 20 years and still going strong. So hopefully, you know, that continues. And if I can ever help
Thank
in
you.
any way, please. My hope is to share these organizations with other families as well.
Okay.
So please know that
Right.
we would love to help the families that you've been able to help. If, you know, I'm sure it's not finished, you know, they're continuing, you know, you can't
Yes.
stay, and there's always another need when you have a child with special needs. So yeah, but that's why we're doing these.
Okay.
Well, thank you very
Well, thank you. Thank you for to contact us, and I really appreciate it. And if I could give a word of advice to all you parents out there, hang in there. There's always joys that comes from bad things too, and just cherish every moment you have. So thank you.
Well, thank you, Nancy. You
Okay.
have a lovely day.